Good morning, everybody. I hope this video finds you well. Today we got a special treat, and DM is going to discuss from his point of view what's going on the remote viewing of the tunnel of light. Now, I don't lucid dream. I am not an expert in lucid dreaming. I've had a couple of lucid dream-like events in my life, but that's the limit of it. Nothing for me to really get too involved in at this point in time, except to say whenever I started to realize that I was lucid dreaming or having some kind of astral experience, suddenly I'm boom right back. So I'm not an expert in this. However, the events as described by this video resonate strongly with a professional, long-term, long-duration lucid dreamer, and DM is one such. I have a great deal of respect for DM, and it's not because he's from Australia. Well, I do have a lot of respect for people in Australia. It's just that his experiences and understandings tie very, very closely to what I've been exposed to. Both him and his wife, SD, are very, very talented and skilled individuals. And I asked the commander about it because, after all, that's what I do. And the opinion is very, very high for these entities. Domain commander salutes them. Okay. What DM has to say is of importance, and you should listen to it. As with MM and with DM and with all this information I throw out here to you, it's not ultimate answers. It's understanding from another person who is viewing something. I view something in one way, he views it in another way, you may view it in another way, but it still doesn't mean, it still means there's something there. I'm placing this stuff up here on MM and all the channels because it has value. So, with that introduction underway, oh my goodness, guys, I'm going to let DM talk, take it and absorb it, kind of let it spin around in your body, and hopefully you'll learn from it. Also, I do want you to understand that there's going to be multiple videos due to the length of this, and please enjoy. Let's have DM do all the talking right now, okay?
Doing videos on this subject is something I've held off for a while deliberately, because I just sort of figure it's probably better if I type this sort of stuff out in report sort of format, so then I can sort of get everything in if I leave things out and add to it or whatever. But anyways, I wanted to do a video in response to Metallicman's video on another video that I sent him a couple of days ago. It's to do with the tunnel of light and the reincarnation things that were remote viewed by this team. And in Metallicman's video, he mentions that I sent it to him and everything, and was making a bit of fuss about it being quite accurate to experiences both myself and SD have had. Yeah, so I just wanted to run through, and he was talking about not having back context, or these remote viewers not having any back context to what it was they were viewing. So basically I thought I'd do this video to give some of the back context as it relates to my experiences. I just wanted to point one thing out. I know I've mentioned it in my writings and stuff, but my experiences with the Elder Guardians and the Unseen Five and everything to do with this happened over a period of 7 years from 2012 to 2019. So basically, I was being contacted just fucking randomly by these guys, just anywhere along this period of time from 2012 to 2017. So basically, for me, what was happening was in 2012, I was taken out of the whole trap things back to, I call it the soul's origin point, because I'm on a few reincarnation groups and shit like that. I'm gonna try and tell these guys my experiences, but I think a lot of them don't want to know about it. But basically, some of them have asked me like, what's it like, or what were some of your past lives that you remember, and that sort of thing like that. And I wanted to clear up some confusion that might be present, is that when you LD or lucid dream and you connect to this higher information sort of thing, it is incredibly hard trying to bring all of that information back into your body when you come into it. It's like when you're waking up from these LD connections with this higher information sort of stream, you the first thing that you know is that you're going to lose a lot of this fucking information, and it's just a desperate sort of clutch to try and hold on to those threads that you know are important, and you know that even though if you focus on it really, really intensely and really hardly, really hard, you're only going to bring like not even 1% of this whole thing back with you. So with my first thing with the Elder Guardians, I was basically unlocked. I call it unlocked because my consciousness, I was operating from a state of awareness that, for all intents and purposes, was alien to fucking this, what we use when we're in our body. It was completely different. You can't even compare the two. The amount of information that you were able to process in this state of awareness is fucking insane. It is like, I equate it to trillions of years more advanced than what we're currently using at the moment. So when someone asks me like what specifically I remember about my past lives, what they need to understand is that when I've accessed this information stream, I've, at that point in time, while I'm accessing it, I have memories of thousands and thousands of years going back to fucking like the moment my soul was created by, I call it the Ein Sof, or the astral light. Like, this is the amount of information that's just flooding fucking into you, and it's just like memories, like you remember it as if it was yesterday. It's like, oh yeah, fuck, I remember that. All this sort of shit happened. Yeah, I remember being involved in that, all the way back, like fucking thousands and thousands of years. And you can't just sort of pinpoint one of those lives and say, okay, yeah, I'm bringing that back with me. Like to do that, you have to have a constant connection to this higher state of awareness. And from everything I was shown and everything by the Elder Guardians, I know that's just not possible because, like Bruce Moen, I think, said, with the M-band noise layer, your consciousness gets compressed as you go back into your body, and that's what filters out all this shit. And that's basically what I was told is what the human body was designed for, is to keep consciousness locked in this dumbed down state so it can't access all this sort of shit. Because once you access all these memories, well, the game's up for the old empire, or whatever you want to call them, that are in charge of this whole thing. So yeah, I thought I'd just run through that just to give you guys an idea. Now, with the actual experiences in this 7-year period, what was coming through is like the only ones that I really talk about and consider important are the ones where I've been connected to this similar state of this higher information stream type thing, and I might go a bit into that later, because I was shown quite a fair bit of how it all works and everything. And that's another thing I have difficulty trying to explain to people as well, is that there was things that I was told by both the Elder Guardians, the Unseen Five, the All Being and all that, that I was directly told. They told me this as if it was, this is fact, this is directly what is happening. There was also things that I experienced as happening in front of me, like I was shown them. Okay, I was taken to this location, shown this is what is actually fucking going on. So the actual intricacies of it wasn't necessarily explained to me, so those particular instances I have to rely on their interpretation, my own interpretation of what I was seeing, trying to relay that in words that we really don't have any words in our English language to describe any of this, but yeah, I'll do my best anyway. And then the third is obviously the personal experiences that I went through, where it was okay, yeah, this is what happened to you, or a memory or whatever. So they're the three things that you should keep in mind, and I'll try and say specifically which category something falls into when I'm talking about it. But yes, I was told things very, very specifically, like the soul amnesia things, the humans being caught in a spiritual amnesia. That was something that was very specifically told to me by the Elder Guardians. Whereas like the reincarnation process, that was something I experienced, something I was basically trained in through my lucid dreams over about a whole year period. And then again, I was directly told by the Elder Guardians, this is what that memory that I had was the actual process, and that I was basically to come back here and share it with people that were interested in it, because it's very hard or very rare that people get that far in their LDs or lucid dreams. So yeah, I was committed to doing that because of everything I've been reading on the Kabbalistic tree of life, Hermetic arts and alchemy and everything like that. Like, whereas people consider this world, this material world, important, and all the materialistic shit that comes with it, all fucking wealth, fame, whatever, I didn't care about any of that. That wasn't part of my personal makeup. My only thing that I wanted to know was, I wanted to know everything about my soul, its true origins, fucking everything like that. So yeah, so I was emphasizing importance on my actual soul rather than just all the materialistic shit of this life. And that's basically what I was told by the EG, is why they helped me out, helped me remember this shit, because I was 110% committed to it. Like, yeah, I was told me I was going to remember some horrible shit, and I said, it doesn't matter. Yep, bring it on, throw anything you've got at me, I can deal with it, psychologically prepared for it and all that sort of shit. So that's what they did. And here I am talking about things that most of the world would think is just insane and crazy. But anyways, now I went through that, getting back to the video Metallicman was talking about. I had another run through it. I took some notes down just to sort of give me an idea of talking points, so excuse me if I'm looking over and just checking them every now and then. So to begin with, the remote viewer, he goes on about seeing this grid where souls are drained. Yeah, basically this grid sort of contraption, mechanical device type thing that's around the Earth. that stops souls from leaving. Now, I wasn't actually shown anything specifically to do with this grid. The only thing that I was told about it was pretty vague, to be honest, and that was in my 2019 experience, my last experience with the Elder Guardian. And that's basically when he was confirming that humanity is just trapped in this big consciousness simulation thing. And I mean, that was more of a confirmation I wanted him to specifically say, because of all the stuff that I was sort of shown over the years by these different groups, that's basically a conclusion I was sort of coming to. But I just wanted to him to say, like, to hear him say, yes, definitely, this is a thing. So that's another thing that was directly told to me. Yeah, and another thing I need to mention as well is I've been collecting astral projectors and lucid dreamers and a couple of remote viewers and that sort of stuff. And a lot of them have had experiences with this sort of stuff, and very similar experiences to me and SD. So basically I'm just trying to get more information on it, sort of thing, from first-hand experiences. Now, one of my team she told me she's seen the actual grid herself during an astral projection, and the way she described it was it's like a cube shape arrangement of cube, sort of like net, with other cubes running through it. And I think she said that it sort of moves, and my interpretation of that was that it was like a tesseract sort of thing, but I may be wrong there. So yeah, but basically she said this grid sort of thing, she's seen it during her astral projections, and it moves, and that's how it sort of captures souls or whatever. Another thing is that don't know if I just mentioned it then, with what was told to me by the Elder Guardian of this grid, all he was sort of said was that it surrounded Earth, and it was like an electronic sort of snare type thing. That's basically all he said. And then I think I might have got like a telepathic image of like this Earth or something. I don't know. It was a long time ago for me to bring that memory up, but definitively he said that, yeah, there's a sort of thing around Earth. He didn't go into much detail about what it was, and that was that. So the non-physical tech that this guy talks about in this video, this remote viewer, he says that it's like magic, and this I have to agree with him. From all the stuff that I was shown, piecing it all together, and you got to remember, this is like, for me, it was like having a conversation with someone that you pick up every time you see them next. So I was be shown all this stuff by the Elder Guardians. They'd disappear for a few years and then just fucking rock back up during my lucid dreams. And then it'd just sort of continue on, like, okay, this is the spiritual amnesia, this sort of thing's happening, rah, rah, rah. Disappear again, come back, train me over a year of remembering my reincarnation. Then when I finally gained that memory, comes back again, like, just shows up. Okay, yep, this is what's happening with the amnesia. So it was like he was building me up in stages. So if you consider me as like his apprentice, and he was teaching me more and more about it every time he was meeting me, and then it just got to the point where, okay, yep, I've got this understanding of what's going on, and then fucking the Unseen Five just appear and tell me more stuff, and I'm like, it was pretty nuts, to be honest. But yeah, just take into account that it's like one continuous story that is happening over a 7-year period. So yeah, it's pretty nuts. But anyways, yeah. So what I was basically shown is how consciousness is the prime technology of the universe, really. And I mean, Metallicman's talked about this numerous times, but it really is. It's the first technology, I suppose, if you go by my interpretations of it, is what everything else comes from. Now, I was actually shown very intricate things of what was going on in relation to how consciousness is basically manipulated into being cut off from this higher informational source. And I don't know if I'll be able to go in depth on that in this video, but we'll see how we go. So when this guy says that consciousness is magic, or like magic, I definitely agree with it. It's so far beyond what we as humans consider technology, like with circuit boards and shit like that. And remember, I'm an electronics tech, so I've got a very good understanding of this sort of lower level technology. But yeah, this sort of thing that's going on, like he says, it's so far beyond what we consider technology that it might as well not be technology. It might as well be magic. And once you understand that, then it might become easier to grasp, but I won't make any guarantees. Now, he says that fracturing occurs during the reincarnation process, and yes, this is very much a thing. Fracturing of, I guess, the soul. This is directly what I experienced. So, to give an explanation of this, I first have to give you an idea of where I was at with my understanding of what consciousness is and its capabilities, sort of things. And what basically I experienced was, so you've got consciousness and it can be reprogrammed, like just basically like reprogramming a piece of software. When you get good at lucid dreaming, this is what I was doing with the Elder Guardians, is they've got interfaces where you can plug your consciousness directly into the fabric of reality, I suppose you might want to call it. I call it the Akashic Records. And you go in there, you plug your consciousness in, and it operates the same on the same concepts of lucid dreaming. And that's why lucid dreamers are so revered among these non-physical entities, is because they basically have access to God technology, source technology, whatever you want to call it. So you can plug in and you can go in and reprogram it, just like you're programming firmware, pretty much. I've done some firmware programming, and it's pretty much just the godlike equivalent of that, I suppose I would call it. Now, my understanding is that all consciousnesses, after they were created from source, were given specific dominion over certain parts of the non-physical universe, or whatever you want to call it, the source realm, the realm where your soul originates from, where this source energy resides, where the Elder Guardians reside. So basically, consciousnesses were given access points. So it's sort of like if you had, I don't know, a big house or a big mansion with different security guards, and you assign a security guard to each room. That's basically what was going on. This is my interpretation of it from things that I've seen, so it wasn't directly told to me. Now, what happens is that, or what happened was that something came and messed with this because it wanted to gain access to parts that were not under its dominion, and that's where the whole stuffing with consciousness thing came into it. So knowing this, sorry, yeah, so basically when you lucid dream, you return to this this sort of state, this original state, or closest point to this original state of being able to program consciousnesses and that. This is where the whole magic thing I can totally relate to comes in, because try to talk about this to normal people, they just don't have a fucking clue about it. Now he speaks about gravitational lensing and like this sort of thing that that absorbs your consciousness and bounces it back to Earth when you, as you're trying to escape. And yeah, this is basically what the anomaly does. This is something I had direct experience with, and is something I've apparently, according to my memories and everything the Elder Guardians told me, this anomaly is something I've been involved with tracking for something like it's between 10 and 40,000 years or something. There's a discrepancy there because of the computer I had my journal on got stolen, and I had 10,000 written down in my backup journal for some reason, but in my mind I'm pretty sure, or my memory I'm pretty sure originally I said 40,000. But yeah, get into the anomaly in a bit, because it comes back towards the end as well of what he's discussing with these people that, or these beings that set it up. Yeah, okay, sorry, I just got a bit sidetracked there, but the fracturing of the soul, and he mentions that something on the mind and body is splayed, and then something is extracted from the soul. And yeah, this is pretty much what happened during the reincarnation process that I remember, and what the Elder Guardian basically wanted me to go through with other people. As traumatic as it was, I don't mind talking about it. Yeah, I don't want to scare people, but at the end of the day, I suppose transparency, we need to be transparent about everything. It's not a pleasant process. These groups and things that I'm on, there's on Facebook, they're stuck in the idea that you are here for evolutionary purposes and all this sort of shit, and that, you know, the typical you're here to absolve bad karma and all that. And sorry to tell you, that's not anything like what's going on. And if you're going to go down that road, you're going to have a fucking bad time at the end of it, because you'll soon realize, once you're sitting in that fucking chair being electrocuted, that you didn't have any opportunity of looking at your past bad deeds or anything like that. It was all a load of total bullshit. So what actually happens is the tunnel of light thing also gets me as well, because this is not part of my experience. I'm not saying it didn't happen, or it doesn't happen. Sorry, I'm saying it didn't happen for me, but I'm not saying it doesn't happen to other people. But my understanding through all of this, all of my experiences, is that what actually happens when you die is that you are taken to a place and you are given a holographic scenario that is dependent on your entire belief systems. And this is getting into where Metallicman's talked about mantids and things like that taking on different forms, pretending to be family and all that sort of shit. my understanding, and this comes back to the technologies and things I was told about from the Unseen Five leader, is that yes, they basically have holographic tech. And what I mean by holographic tech is that they got like these rooms set up. This is going from other lucid dream experiences I've had with this stuff, and you can have a room. So say you've got like, I don't know, 4 by 4 meter room or whatever. This technology will generate a environment around you, and the way it generates it is exactly the same as how a dream is generated during a lucid dream. So the environment can be to infinity and beyond in length and area. The walls of the room that it's in disappear, and suddenly you are in a fucking like RPG computer game of whatever has been programmed into this hologram simulator. If you guys have ever seen the series Preacher and the holographic projection thing that they have in hell in that series, that's basically what this sort of technology is that they have, except it's not like a little projector screen on the roof. It's just, you don't actually see where it's projected from. It's like the whole room projects it, sort of thing. It's really crazy. But I suppose if you've been lucid dreaming for as many years as I have, you sort of get used to that sort of thing happening anyway. So it's just another day at the office, pretty much. So this is the interpretation of what I experienced, is this holographic purgatory like place was projected around me, and it was like an apocalyptic shithole. There was decrepit buildings everywhere, and just sort of people, I think that just people sort of lying around, like a real dystopia type place where it's just every man for himself sort of thing, and not a nice place to be in. And it really felt like a purgatory. There was this feeling for me of like, this isn't a heaven or a hell, but I think that was because I've never been big on heaven or hell, or buying into any of that religious sort of subscription service. Religious Netflix, I suppose I should call it. Yeah, so the best they could do was this sort of generate this purgatory like environment, and you can't project out of it. I'm not sure why, but yeah, it's not some way you can easily, not some way you can easily project out of using common astral projection and lucid dreaming abilities. And what happens is you are met by a shell of yourself, and this is getting back to where this guy was talking about shells and ghosts. My interpretation of everything after having the memory and after being told certain things by the elder guardian, the grand elder, sorry, of the elder guardians, is that our consciousness, when it's placed in our bodies, in a physical body, it's also placed in the astral, etheric and causal bodies as well. The energetic bodies is just as much as a container as the physical body is. When we die, our physical body decomposes, turns into bones and dust or whatever.
And that's what DM has to say. And I have to admit that there's a lot of important items in there. You have to parse out and kind of dig through the things, because remember, unless you're lucid dreaming, it'll sound very, very strange to you. But he's observing things and telling you his feelings and observations. It's important and you need to listen. And I'm going to have more videos on this. In the meantime, take care and know, guys, no matter what you do or however you handle it, just know that, well, guys, I believe in you.